Slide layers allow you to show or hide some objects. It's a useful way to organize your content on one slide. So let's find out how you can add slide layers in Articulate Storyline. Here I have a slide with two icons, and I would like the user to click on these icons to see some more content. So from here, I will go to the slide layer panel here on the right side, and I will click on New Layer. So this is the new slide layer. I'm gonna double click and call it Layer 1. I'll go back to my base layer, and I'll add the trigger that will show this layer when the user clicks this icon. I will click this icon and then go to my triggers panel, create a new trigger, and I'll say show layer 1 when user clicks icon 1. Say OK. And then on that layer, I will go ahead and insert a text box. I will insert a random text here. Here you go. And I'm gonna align it like so. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, maybe bold. Okay. So that's the first layer we have here. I'll go ahead and create another layer, and I'll call it layer 2. Go back to my base layer and add the same trigger, but for the second icon. Show layer, I'll choose layer 2. When the user clicks, icon 2. And say OK. And I'll do the same thing here. I'll add the text box. So now what happens, let's preview this slide. Now these two icons are clickable. When they click, they will see this text. They click, they will see this text. Now, what if you want to show the two text boxes at the same time? So you will go to the slide layer, you will right click and say Properties. By default, Storyline will have this box checked, hide other slide layers. So from here, we will go and uncheck this box and say Close, and do the same thing for the other layer, uncheck and say Close. And now let's preview the slide. So now when the user clicks, this is the first slide layer showing this text box, and the other icon clicked, showing the other text box on the second slide layer without hiding the other slide layer. So now I will show you some other examples where you might want to adjust the property settings for the slide layers accordingly. Here we have this slide. It's similar to a tabs interaction, and I've added all these slide layers with the needed text, and I have added the triggers on my base layer. Here on the property settings, I have checked the hide other slide layers for all the slide layers. So it will show, so the user will click and will get this text. And then when they click on this icon, I want this text to be removed and the new text will show. So that's an example where you might want to change the property settings. Here's another example where I have added another setting here, hide slide layer when timeline finishes. So here on my slide layer, the user won't be able to click on the other icons on the base layer because the items or the objects on the slide layer is hiding or are on top of the objects in the base layer. So I want the user to keep seeing this layer until the end of the timeline, and then the layer will hide automatically. I'll show you how this looks like. Click here. This is the first layer. I can't click anywhere. When the timeline ends, it disappeared automatically. Same thing with the second layer. And the third layer. Now here's another example where you might want to prevent the user from clicking on other slide layers. So you'll have this box checked. And I'll do the same thing for the other two layers. Properties, prevent the user from clicking on the other layers. In that case, the user won't be able to click on the other icons until the current layer finishes. This is useful when you have videos or audios on your slide layers and you don't want the user to be skipping through those videos or audios. So I'll show you how this will look like. Here's the first icon, first layer. I won't be able to click on these until that layer disappeared. And now I can click on this. Now I can't click on the other icon until this layer disappears, and only then I can click on the third layer. Finally, remember, there are so many ways you can use those slide layers to make your training interactive. For example, here I have a process and I have made it interactive using those slide layers where the user will have to click on each step to learn more. So that is it from my side. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next time.